everyone, we are from Group 5 from 19dB. In this video, we are going to talk about learner-centered or learner-centered instruction. Before we move to the topic, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Amelia and my partner Rifa Mahmudah. As you can see, here are the list of the topics we are going to discuss in this presentation. There are post-method era, an informed eclectic approach, learner-centered, the general and specific objective of learner-centered, the syllabus method in learner-centered, types of learning and teaching activities in learner-centered, the learner roles in learner-centered, teacher roles in learner-centered, and the instructional material roles in learner-centered. First is the post-method era. The notion of post-method era of language teaching was a concept that arose around the turn of the 21st century that described the need to put the limited concept of method as it was used in the previous century. The post-method teachers is characterized as reflective, autonomous, and self-directed, and able to elicit authentic pedagogical interaction. Next, an informed eclectic approach. The eclectic approach was born out of the realization that each of the individual methods has strength and weakness, and that no one method was responsive to the dynamic classroom context. The approach includes a number of basic principles of learning and teaching on which teachers can rely for designing and evaluating classroom lessons. Next is the learner-centered. What is learner-centered? Learner-centered instruction was a catchword for a new model of education across many disciplines. Learner-centered instruction turned the teacher-centered models upside down by playing down the all-knowing, authoritative roles of the teacher and giving opportunities to students to participate in the classroom without fear of being scolded or belittled by a teacher. In learner-centered classrooms, teachers are not being asked to relinquish all control, only to allow for student innovation, creativity, and eventually their autonomy. All of these efforts help to give students a sense of ownership of their learning and thereby add to their sense of agency and identity. Next is the general and specific objective of learner-centered. In general, learner-centered refers to curricula where the priority is a process rather than the content. The curriculum is designed around how learners learn rather than around goals of what they are to learn. For the specific objective, learner-centered have two separate chapters, one on negotiated curricula and the other on humanistic curricula. This division is not that distinct. Both have been used in different countries. Negotiated curricula largely associated with British and Australian programs, while humanistic curricula have their origins in the US. Next is the syllabus model. Syllabus model in negotiated curricula means that the teachers discuss with the learners on how learning and teaching are to be organized. Noonan sets out how teachers can work with learners in each aspect of the curriculum. And they are need analysis, choosing activities, choosing content, and designing assessment. Here is an infographic of negotiated syllabus model. First, need analysis. In needs analysis, teachers analyze the learner's needs. For example, before a particular lesson or unit, a teacher might conduct a need analysis to determine what types of learning activities students prefer. The second is choosing activities. In choosing activities, some teachers survey students at the beginning of the course. Others assign activities, then ask students to evaluate the activity. The third is choosing content. Choosing content provides an opportunity for learner-centeredness. The content can be chosen for some learner-related reasons. Last is designing an assessment. Assessment is probably one of the areas that teachers are most reluctant to negotiate with learners. One type of formative assessment used with learners of all ages and proficiency levels is a learner's diary.
The next is syllabus model in humanistic curricula. Humanistic approach differs from the negotiated curricula in some important ways. Even though a humanistic approach also promotes a learner-centered curriculum that will emphasize helping learners become empowered and autonomous, the balance is different from a negotiated curriculum. In humanistic approaches, teachers become facilitators in the learning process. Here are some principles of humanistic curriculum syllabus. The first principle is learner choice and control. Means how are the students given opportunities to exercise choice or control in their own learning. The second is learner concerns and interests. Means the way that does the curriculum reflect students' interests, needs, and concerns, and how are the learners given input into the content of the curriculum. The third is the whole persons, means how are the both cognitive and affective domains an integral part of the learning process. And the fourth is self-evaluations, mean how are the students given an opportunity to evaluate their own learning. If yes, then how do they learn about themselves in the process. The fifth is the collaborations, means how are the cooperation and collaboration encouraged. And the last or the sixth is teachers as a facilitator, means the teacher is functioning as the facilitator of learning, and what are the indicators. The next is types of learning and teaching activities. In humanistic language learning, the activities are to explore the students' values, ideas, opinions, goals, and feelings, as well as their experiences. While in negotiated curricula, the learning and teaching activities are based on the teacher's survey and agreed by the learners. The next is learner roles. In humanistic language teaching, students are always given opportunities to exercise control over their own learning. Learners have roles to make choices that range from deciding what book to read, which classmates to work with, or what roles to assume during group work, to larger choices such as periodically setting future life goals. Meanwhile, in the negotiated curriculum, learners have roles to negotiate and decide the class activities with the teacher. Next is the teacher roles. Teacher roles in negotiated curricula are to analyze the needs type of learning activities that students prefer, course planning skills, educational counseling, conflict resolution, and the assessment skills. Meanwhile, in humanistic curricula, the teacher must realize some control and take on the role of a facilitator of learning, working to create positive learning experiences for the students and positive affect in the classroom. Helping learners build a positive self-concept and understand themselves as learners are also important components of humanistic approaches. The last is the instructional material role. The role of the instructional materials in the learner-centered for both curriculum are to ease, encourage, improve, and promote teaching and learning activities. Here are the sources that we use for our discussion today. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.